All right, we are going to try this again, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, everybody, it's JJ Conway. We're going to try this again. Um, Hopefully you can hear me all right. The interesting thing, all morning we have been having some really weird things regarding technology and the mics, and I think some of it has to do with preparation for Women in Cloud that's coming up at the end of the month. That I'm one of both a speaker, I'm a cloud advisor, cloud circle advisor for other women who are trying to move forward in their businesses, and I'm also a volunteer. So I think with all the different trainings and Remo versus everything else, I think all of that has conspired to gunk up my mic and stuff here. So what I'm doing is I'm using the default mic. I hope the sound is okay. I'm actually going to try to pull it up on okay. That'll work. That'll work. My mic and stuff here. So what I'm doing, I gotta get out of that so we don't have feedback. So because I bought this wonderful camera, and we're gonna talk about that in a second. I bought this wonderful camera, and but it's a learning curve, and it's just a lot more learning than curve, right? So, hey, y'all, it's JJ. Today we're going to talk about something that I actually thought I talked about a couple of weeks ago during the countdown to your best year ever. And I discovered today, because I found some things missing, and I found the title, said, oh, I'm going to upload it. But of course, I like to preview things before I upload it. So I had this video with this title, but because the signal was wonky, I cut off the lesson because it was being taught during our normal Thursday night time. And we usually get a significant amount of comments and views and shares and things like that. So, so before we get into today's lesson, which is going to be a repeat of something I thought I gave you back between Thanksgiving and Christmas when we do our countdown to your best year ever, I do have some announcements, and they are kind of long, but I'm going to try to go through them real quick because I think it's important for you to know what's going on in my business, so that in my life, because as I elevate my life and as I elevate my business, you also elevate your life and you also elevate your business, right? So the very first announcement, what I'm super excited about, is we have published our lesson schedule for 2022. You can find that in the Building Wealth Together Facebook group, my Facebook page, as well as in our DC and Shreveport meetup groups. In fact, I'm going to show you one of those right now. This is the original group that we started for hey, oh, that might be the problem. Oh, well, that might be the problem. That might be the problem. Okay, I see it. Oh my goodness, there was an extra StreamYard link open. Okay, so that's probably what happened earlier. I had two StreamYard links open. Oops. Uh, so, so, and I'm telling you, I went tab by tab. I went tab by tab because I knew if I called Sabrina Lowry, the tech evangelist, and asked her to help me out, I know the first thing she's going to say is it plugged in? Is it turned on? And have you closed all your unnecessary tabs, right? Um, and I ain't trying to pay nobody to ask me if I plugged it in, turned it on, and closed all my unnecessary tabs. And I went through every tab. That's the problem when you have so many things. But let me go ahead and share you this. It seems like it's not letting me share that screen. Maybe I need to do it. Maybe I need to make it its own tab, its own window. Hold on. So I want to show you the calendar because I'm super excited about this. I'm really excited about the shift that we've made in the Building Wealth Together lineup, because what it's going to do, there we go. So this is our original Building Wealth Together page. It's got almost 500 people in it, based in Alexandria, Virginia. And this is the one that started it all. That's my $900 free leather jacket, y'all. And whoo, that was pre-baby right there. So me there with Mr. Landlord. But we've got the schedule. We've got the schedule posted for all of our events. So actually, let me see if I can show it to you on a calendar view. So this is all of the real estate classes that we're going to cover this year. Okay, they're going to be every third Thursday. Our empowered entrepreneur classes, those are going to be our fourth Thursday. Okay, so all of those have been posted. All right. The fireside chat is always the first Thursday, and then our second Thursdays is going to be our 7-figure business building, which was our entrepreneurial training. Okay. And so we've got an exciting lineup for that, and it's really, it's putting new entrepreneurs on the path to building that 7-figure business. And so we've got some different things for everyone to explore. A lot of times we don't try something because we don't know that we'll be good at it. And so with what we're giving you guys this, with this lineup is we're giving you opportunities to try something, to try out virtual summits, to try out coaching, to try out different things. And then also entrepreneurial education, such as one of my favorite classes, and one of the ones that gets requested very often, is how to start charging what you're worth. I know I struggled with that for years because I taught financial classes, real estate investing classes, and I coached people financially for free for like 15 years. And so it was really hard for me to make the shift into charging people for it, because I had been doing it for free for so long. I just didn't think anybody was going to pay me. And if they were going to pay me, I didn't think they were going to pay me enough to make it worth my while. So that particular lesson has the lessons that helped me get over this thought of I can't charge what I'm worth and I can't charge what I need to charge to make a successful business. Because if your business is not making money, the IRS calls that a hobby, not a business. All right. So the schedule is posted. I stopped the share. Wait, can I put it back in? There we go. I think you can go now on my Facebook group page. And I'm not going to try to pull that in because I'm streaming to Facebook. I'm not going to risk messing that up. Right. But you can go on the Facebook page and you'll see all of them in a list. Like I just cut and pasted the whole list. And I think on these meetup pages, you can see them on a, calendar format. Okay. So you're going to see a couple different things. I don't see it here, but they usually are here. You're going to see the different RIA groups that I recommend. I see Tammy's here. There should be Maria and there should be Real Investors. Those are the 3 that I recommend from when I was living in, the DC area and we started this group, but I don't see them on it, but you can go out there and everything's on the calendar. And that's great because now you can know, and you can make arrangements in your schedule to make sure you catch the juicy goodness live, and you can make sure that you get your questions answered. So instead of it being a wild card, like, ooh, what is JJ going to talk about today? Which is always good, always empowering, always uplifting, right? Like that we know that it's good, but you know what, when you know better, you do better. And I've come to realize I got to do a little bit better. So we're just doing what we can, the best we can with what we've got. And I believe it is a blessing. All right. So we're going back to our roots on this. You'll notice the classes are no longer on Saturdays. When we started building wealth together in Keller Williams Kingstown's training room, back when I was an agent, you might not know this. I was a realtor for 10 years in the DC area. So when I was in Maryland and Northern Virginia, I was first with Long & Foster and then with Keller Williams. And when the military moved us to Louisiana, I discovered that Thursday nights was a hard sell for that region. It was especially a hard sell because I wanted to keep my teaching time so that people who were used to dialing in, they were either used to coming to the in-person meeting or dialing in for the after-party meeting, the after-party class, the advanced class, the VIP class. I wanted to keep those phone calls the same time. Well, you're not going to have a whole lot going on in Bossier City, Louisiana, as a woman of color teaching finance at 8:30 Central at night. The people I'm trying to reach, they're already tucked their kids into bed and they're trying to finally get a few moments of relaxing, or they're just, or a lot of them were single moms who would tuck their kids to bed and go work at the casino. So I had to change everything. And now that I've moved again, I really do practice what I preach, right? So like I tell my business and my personal financial coaching clients, the best time to execute your business is whatever time works best for you and your family. And I'm going to tell you, this past year of trying to do Saturdays, because that's what I had programmed in before I knew I was moving out here, and I'm a person of my word, right? Like I programmed that in. People RSVP to those meetings on Meetup, and I did my absolute best to make sure I either held it or pre-recorded it, but it was not working. It wasn't working for the family, and it wasn't working for me. So the cool thing is, It's a cool thing. And the reason I'm spending so much time on this is because this will help many of you who have businesses. And even if you don't have a business, this is something that will actually help you in your life. Like, I'm talking about a business principle and I'm talking about business decisions, but if this will help you also in your personal life or any nonprofit or ministry decisions that you have to make. These are important decisions. And so you can see how it played out for me and my business and the impact it's going to have to my family and my ministry. And so you can be better equipped to make those decisions as well. The cool thing is making the decision to move everything over to Thursday nights, which really has been my teaching night for like 8 years now. Even if we had a Saturday class, we still had a Thursday class, right? It really allowed me to focus on how to deliver you the best value. And so I think this lineup is even more powerful. So it's like the sun's light, right? You spread it out on the earth. It's powerful enough to purify the air, grow us food to eat. But when you condense that light down, like if you hold that magnifying glass and it condenses the sun's light down to a pinpoint, woo, it's strong enough to burn something, right? It's the same light, it's just that one is more focused. And I'm finding that being more focused in my life is helping me deliver better training for you and open up more space and capacity in my life for my family as well as the ministry, which I admit I have a tendency to kind of push to the side because I'm so focused on business. That's one of the things that I struggle with as an entrepreneur, is pushing my family and ministry aside when I feel that really I'm called to serve in those areas first, right? It also opens up more slots for me for one-on-one coaching and mastermind group coaching. So you're going to get more access to me this year. All right. So that's the first big announcement. We're moving Saturday lessons to Thursday. Every Thursday, again, fireside chat. You just get your money questions answered, and you can get your money questions answered anytime, right? Like, you can start dropping your money questions in the chat right now. And when I get to a break point, I can start answering your money questions, right? Every second Thursday, 7-figure business building. Every third Thursday, like we started in the beginning, every third Thursday was real estate investing 101. Every fourth Thursday is the empowered entrepreneur. And again, it's going to be really powerful for you. That fourth Thursday class is really powerful. If you feel like you are doing everything you know how to do, but the results don't seem to match up, oh, you want to book that time slot on your calendars. All right. And so just as it's been for the last 8 years, 9:30 Eastern, 8:30 Central, 7:30 Mountain, and 6:30 Pacific. Now football season might throw a gunk in that again, but I'm like, let's pray, y'all. Let's pray my son makes varsity, so I have football only 3 days out of the week and not 4 days. Can y'all touch and agree with me on that? That I He's like, I'm like, are you going to before practice and after, like the before school and the after school practice? I'm like, are you going to all the practices? I'm good, Mom. I need you to make varsity, because this driving 3 hours to your games on a Thursday night and then going to Dad's game on a Friday night and then going to Cubby's game on a Saturday night. And I gotta spend time with my husband. So Sunday, when he wants to watch his team play, I'm gonna be right on that couch next to him. I'm like, my whole life is dominated by football. It's God and football. Welcome to Texas. Okay, I'm sorry, y'all. That wasn't planned, but come on, y'all. Whew. But yeah. So if my son is JV again, we may have to adjust that a little bit during football season, or I may have to record them earlier and rebroadcast them like I did last year. Y'all saw that I did the Think and Grow Rich with Camille. We did it on a different day and we rebroadcast it. All right. So the other one that I want to tell you guys is we will not be holding a live component to Healing My Sisters this year. It kills me to say that, because last year's Reconnect with Myself retreat was so powerful and I couldn't wait to do it again. I mean, it was just such a mighty move and people broke free in their lives, and I followed their businesses and I follow what they're doing, and I see so many impactful changes both in their businesses and their ministries, and I was so excited to do it again. And we were going to go to Tampa. John Maxwell International Conference is during spring break this year, so my whole family's coming with me, and we were going to go out there to Tampa, and I just thought it was going to be a fun thing, Orlando for the conference, some Universal Studios, and then out to the beach. And I just thought it was going to be phenomenal. But I lost 2 more friends this past week, y'all. One to COVID and other to complications of aging. And I just feel like it's too soon. I know everybody else is having these phenomenal events, but I just felt like it was too soon for me to try to put something together this quick when we don't understand what we're facing with this with pandemic. I thought it was on its way out, but it seems to have a huge resurgence even here in Erath County. So, we just have to do the best we can to make sure that we protect the most people. And because we're not going to do it live, we've got to decide if we're going to keep the date, because really the date was predicated on having the live component down at the beach at the resort, right? And so if we're not going to have that live component, but my family's going to be down there, do they just go to the beach and I go ahead and broadcast anyway from the hotel room, which is fine by me. I mean, come on. I mean, as long as I'm by the beach, I'm good. Or do we want to move it? So I don't know those details right now. I'm leaning towards leaving it where it is, but it will be virtual and it'll still be free. Okay. So, I should put the link up. Hold on. So if you're interested in attending, you can register for that. Let me put that up there. You can register for that. It's free. Okay. It will be virtual and it will be free. So if you would like to sign up, or you know anybody else that should speak at the conference, they can go to this link here, jjclink.com/HMS. Now, Facebook and YouTube do not like these links. These links go to my active campaign. Active Campaign has this cool new feature where I can build these snazzy new pages. I built all these pages one afternoon. I felt like I was amazing because I built these pages and y'all, they look good. But then I tried to post events and put them in the comments so y'all could click them and go, and I got shut down. YouTube shut me down. Facebook shut me down. Oh, because for some reason that doesn't play well together. So I got to figure out something else. But you can just type it in, jjclink.com/HMS. All right. And then building wealth, women building wealth together, that will also be virtual. We will do a live virtual where you can interact with the speakers. There's going to be a small portion of that that's live virtual, but again, we're not going to have an in-person meeting. Okay. We're not going to have a grip and grin, skin to skin kind of meeting. We're not going to do that today. So you can register for Healing My Sisters, jjclink.com/HMS. You can register and apply on that page. For Women Building Wealth Together, we don't have the registration page up yet, but we are accepting speaker applications, jjclink.com/WBWT. All right. So, okay. All right. I think we're good on that. Oh, no. I have one more final announcement, and I'm going to make sure to put this on the Building Wealth Together podcast because there is a lesson in this announcement. Okay. So many of you noticed that we have shifted the date for the Self-Image Rising. This class was supposed to start last week. And about 2 weeks ago, I shifted it. And then the funny thing is I shifted it, and then we started getting people sign up more for it. So I was glad that I made that shift before people started paying. I mean, we had free students who earned a seat by completing another class. Because some of my classes, some of my higher end paid classes, if you actually finish the class, and if you don't know this, it's because, and you haven't finished the classes, then please go back and finish the classes. You get a ticket to certain classes depending on the level that you invested in, because I want to see the growth in your life. We pushed it back to 24 Feb, and the reason for this is multifold. But the primary reason is just like with today's lesson, I've discovered some gaps in the content of the 2021 lessons, and they were taught live. Okay. They were taught live. So most of you who are watching, if you've been watching, you got the content. And even if you paid, you got the content in this group or in the paid group, right? And many of the lessons were downloaded and they should have been edited, but either the file was corrupted or like this one, there were issues. So at the end of it, I'm saying, you know what? I'm not going to teach this lesson. I'm going to save it for later because I feel like you guys can't hear me. And I never edited the title. So, or like with the camera, this amazing new camera, but most of the videos that I recorded in that first month, they have me looking over here, which is where is the middle of my screen, but I'm not really looking at the camera. And then I tried to move the camera and it's just been a learning curve. Right. And so I didn't catch it, but now that I caught it, I can't unsee it. right? So normally I don't mind just, okay, we'll press on and we'll get back to it later. Somebody complains, then we will fix it, but nobody complained, so I wasn't going to fix it, right? Because most people are catching the lessons live, either public live or the extra lessons in the paid Facebook group, right? Uh, but there's just so many things that need to be fixed. And I already had a backlog overcoming the podcast backlog from when we took that time off in summer. We took that 6 weeks off and traveled, and I spoke at a conference where we built a whole family summer trip around it. It was amazing, but the process I put in place did not work to keep my business going. And so I came back to this huge backlog, and I'm still clearing I'm still discovering more interviews that I did and forgot about because we were traveling and I didn't have all the things, right? I didn't have everything in place to really do a good job. And so we just decided as a company, the best way to handle this is going to be to take a strategic pause and get our affairs in order. And so we're cleaning that beam out of our own eyes, y'all, getting that beam out of our own eyes. And I might lose a little bit of money, but I believe that walking in integrity is more important than making a quick buck, right? So when you sign up for one of my courses, I want to make sure that you get 200% above and beyond what you paid for. And that starts with the foundation of making sure you actually get what you paid for. So again, if you are in my paid group, you already got the content live, but it's not in the portal. And some of the videos had quality issues pulling them from Facebook to put them in the portal. So I'm just going to re-record stuff. Is that fair enough? Is that fair enough today? All right. So this will be delayed to about February 24th, I think, is when we're kicking that off. So if you didn't already get it at the $99 price, then good for you. You don't have to pay for $500 to get it. You can still get it at $99 because we pushed the date back. So you can still get the early bird price. All right. All right. So you can find that on my website, buildingwealthtogether.com. All right. So let's get started for reals. And let me make sure that I'm recording this just in case we have another issue with the recording. I'm at least going to have an audio recording of this thing. All right. Look, it won't be the best quality, but it'll be something. All right. So we can get people moving forward in their lives. All right. Let me take this banner down. Actually, I think I'll make it a ticker. Hold on. If you guys have never used StreamYard, this is a really cool thing. There we go. Now we can see me. Okay. So for those of you who are new to me and my body of work, welcome to Building Wealth Together. I'm JJ Conway, and in today's lesson, I'm going to talk about power principle number 4, the role of persistence. And persistence has a lot of different meanings to different people. And today we're just going to define it as, for this session, we're going to define it as the quality of continuing to be in the action of doing, moving forward despite the problems or difficulties or hardships that have come along the way. And so for me, persistence is about taking us all the way to our final achievement. We live in a culture that expects instant gratification, and many people appear to have developed a sense of entitlement. We expect movies to be on demand, 24-hour customer service. We want fast food. We want everything pretty easy in our lives. And I'll admit, if I can't just go on to Netflix and get that thing start playing when I want it playing, I get a little irritated, right? And we see this also. We see this also in our debt-ridden households, where many young people believe that they should be rewarded, not because of their achievements, but simply because they tried, or worse yet, simply because they showed up. And if you're like many of us, just hearing the word persistence brings about a sensation or an image of struggle, of unending effort or challenge that has to be. Well, in the context of the power principles, persistence is seen from a far more positive and optimistic view. All right. It's not about enduring. And it's not about this negative. Remember, words have meaning. It's not about, I've got to endure. In fact, it's far from it. Instead, persistence is about actively doing whatever must be done with purpose, passion, and inspiration. And this type of persistence doesn't have an end. And its core is where you develop the daily motivation to live your vision minute by minute, hour by hour, day by day. President Calvin Coolidge recognized the virtues of consistent, continuous, constant, effort in persisting. And he was quoted as saying, hold on, he was, hey, Joseph. All right. He was persistent in saying, he was quoted as saying, as I look back on my life and I look at how I got to this place that separated me from people who had far more talent, education, credentials, heard that, and experience, I found that nothing can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. The world is full of unsuccessful people with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education alone will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. Wow. Now, of course, I believe that God is omnipotent, but in our lives, what is powerful? What is all powerful in our lives? Persistence and determination. If you have persistence and determination, it doesn't matter if you're the most educated person in the room, you will still succeed. It doesn't matter if you're the most talented person in the room, you will still succeed. I ain't a singer, I'll tell you that right now. I can't sing, right? But I tell you what, half the time I get up to sing at church, I got more power than people who can really well. Why? Not because I can sing better, but because I got the power of the Holy Spirit riding out behind my song. And so it's not always about your raw talent. And he says, what else does he say? He says that education, talent, genius, nothing takes the place of persistence. Nothing takes the place of persistence. And what I think that President Coolidge was trying to say here is that the virtues of showing up on time, updating your knowledge, doing what you said you would do, and finishing what you start may not be glamorous or make for super interesting conversation, but they define the basic building blocks of success in all aspects of life, even beyond such traditional measurements as natural ability, developed talent, or education. And I've seen that in my life where I thought, well, gee, I've got all this talent. I've got all this education. When am I going to do this or do that? Well, I had to realize that you just don't show up. You just don't show up and get handed what you need to get handed because you're awesome. Everybody's awesome. It's about doing the thing. All right. Let me come off of that just a second. But seriously, we do need to keep that in mind. Okay. It's not about, and it's also not about comparing ourselves with others, because a lot of times we'll compare ourselves with others and then we'll get discouraged and we won't persist. Sometimes we look at how far the mountain is and we get discouraged and we won't persist. Sometimes we don't think we have enough talent to do it and we get discouraged and we won't persist. And we think about how we didn't finish high school, or we didn't finish master's degree, or we didn't finish our doctoral program. How many of us out there today are ABD, all but dissertation? And every time you think about schooling and degrees, that just laughs at you, hanging over your head like a big old cloud, like you can't do that, right? And so, we've got to get past all that stuff and realize those things don't define us. They don't define who we are. They don't define whose we are, and they cannot take away from the fact that abundance is our birthright. Most people, the stat says 85% of people after the first or second failure, defeat, or disappointment quit. They aren't willing to do what the great Og Mandino said: persist until you succeed. A friend of mine shared this Japanese proverb with me that says, fall 7 times, stand up 8. And I love that, right? Persistence, it's about having the tenacity, the intensity, the fire, the relentless passion that naturally arises when you are living in alignment with your heart's desire. It means that we keep trying even when we fail, because we know we're learning and growing in competence with each failed attempt. And as such, we're getting closer to our success and a whole new level of awareness that will ultimately carry us forward. This process makes all the difference in our journey. Without persistence, all the other power principles cannot be engaged. They lose their transformational power. But with persistence, however, your life can be changed forever. Persistence is closely tied with resolution. You resolve to act, not a New Year's resolution, but resolution. Resolved. I resolve to act in alignment with my vision. Often, though, our daily routines and impersonal interactions, they can weigh us down as burdens, or we can choose to fuel our actions with passionate resolution and intensity, in which case they lift us up and provide motivation to persistently move forward to fulfilling our vision. But this way of the power principles requires, this way of achieving success requires that we have a purpose and vision through which to filter out the things that we're doing with our time, our treasure, and our energy. And once we're able to do that, even necessary mundane actions will burn with fire and passion and heat. And so the journey becomes enjoyable, just as the destination is. It's not about, oh, I've got to endure. It's about, I'm on this journey to achieve my vision and my mission. And these are the road bumps of life that come along. Inevitably in life, we face situations and tasks that we'd rather not have to face. My Lord, I feel like I've had a lifetime of them, and I've had a pretty nice life. I really can't complain. But how many times have we tripped and we just laid there and thought, it's not worth getting up? Could I just stay here forever? I don't want to do this anymore. There's a saying that's appropriate in this context. Nobody trips over mountains. Inevitably, it's the small pebbles that cause us to stumble. If you can pass all the small pebbles on your line, that you have crossed a mountain also. One of my mentors, Paul Shealy, had a great thought about tackling those pebbles and creating a new model for avoiding them down the road. He said that determination, persistence, and patience are 3 parts of developing any habit. And if you're taking notes, I'm going to say it again. He said determination, persistence, and patience are the 3 parts of developing any habit. He said it's like looking at a graph, like we used to use in algebra class, right? And the X or vertical axis is how much effort it takes. And the Y or horizontal axis is how much time it's going to take. And I've charted out his point here on the red line. And for those of you who are listening to this power principle as part of the CD set or the flash drive MP3 set, then you will need to go into your downloadables and find this chart, okay? But I've charted it out here on a red line. The first phase of developing any habit requires determination. It takes a huge amount of energy and effort versus a lot of time. Lots of people give up because they realize the level of energy or the effort it's going to take, and they decide, I'm out of here. And at the peak of the effort, though, the amount of effort starts to level off, okay? And we're able to reproduce the action. It starts to level off, and we're able to reproduce the action, and we enter the next phase, which requires persistence or sticking with it. You have to keep doing the thing over and over again. And that's where people give up, because it feels like it's going to take forever, especially when you're here and the effort is so daunting at the beginning of the curve. Okay. So for those of you who can't see, I've drawn an exponential curve that sharply rises. And it's in this area, I call it the give up zone, right? This is one thing that I've seen is people give up. Oh my goodness, this is so much harder than it looks. Oh my goodness, so-and-so made it look so easy. Well, so-and-so made it look so easy because so-and-so's been doing it for 20 years. They're out here. It is easy. I always get a little bit of a chuckle when somebody's like, wow, I can't believe you just came up, I just told you 2 things about my life and you came up with all these business ideas and stuff like that. Well, I've had some years of practice. So for me, it is easy. It is easy for me to come up with that. We can sit down for 15 minutes and I can give you all kinds of business ideas and I can help you see which one of your talents is really a good fit for what it is you want to do to change the world, have impact, make money, right? But that's here. I wasn't all that good back here. Now, the other thing I've seen as a financial planner who people come to who are trying to pick up the pieces of their financial lives after throwing everything in a business, giving up or failing, and now they want to work with me to rebuild their lives and finally win with money, right? Is you also have a corresponding time where there's no progress. And you see that on my chart here. Those of you who are watching the video, you see that on my chart here as a blue line. Okay, so I've expanded Dr. Sheely's thoughts into an expanded chart where I've added a blue line, exponential but rapidly growing, as opposed to starts off slow and then rapidly grows up. Okay, whether the progress you're looking for is financial, or it's impact you want to have in your community, or even a new habit that you're trying to develop, or an old one that you're trying to change, it takes time and persistence to be successful. So you're working hard. It feels like you're getting nowhere. And at the same time, you're expending a lot of work. It feels like this is taking so much work and effort. This is why most people give up before they get to the part of the graph where things are easy. And they give up before they get to the part of the graph where you have exponentially increasing everyday results. It takes time and persistence to be successful. So now here's an example. I recently rearranged my dresser and I moved my workout shirts to a new drawer. And even after a month, I still find myself going back into the old drawer to get a workout shirt. Old habits die hard, y'all. And so it takes time. It takes time and it takes persistence to be successful. And so the final phase is when the energy and the effort starts dropping off quickly. Now it becomes a habit. Now that it's not taking you a whole lot of extra effort and energy to maintain that thing, whatever the thing is that we're trying to accomplish, now it's become a habit. And eventually I'll get to the point with my shirt drawer where I'm no longer going into the old short drawer to get my workout shirts. I'll have developed the habit of going to the new shirt drawer. But I love, if you have never done this exercise and you feel like you need a shakeup in your life, I actually got this from Rory Ray, who does relationship coaching. So this was back when I first got divorced and I was just trying to kind of figure out what was wrong with me. I did every relationship book and blog you could imagine, right? I don't think anything was really wrong with me. I think we all have a growth that we have to do, but I definitely have grown some from it. But this exercise, basically moving your sock drawer, it challenges your mind to change. And we don't like change, but when we change in one area, it helps us to be open to change in another area. Okay. So that's like a little freebie. That's not really the power principle that we're talking about today. But basically what's happening is this is taking effort over time and it requires patience with ourselves to get there, because otherwise we give up too soon. We give up too soon. Okay. And over time, we might be making some progress, and then boop, our old behavior suddenly resurfaces. But persistence is the lateral move at the top of the graph where we are not only crossing the finish line, we learn to cross it again and again and again. It's the ability to reproduce that success over and over and over again. But you got to do it the first time so that you can reproduce that success all the way over to completion. That's persistence. In your personal journey, hold on a second. Sorry. In your personal journey, you will have to face situations, confront people, or change internal habits, right? And whether you want to build a high rise or lose weight, both are filled with challenges. Both have friction. Both have internal and external opposition. The opposition. Even something as good as I want to lose weight and get healthier. How much external and internal opposition do we get about even such a simple goal, right? But they all also have whatever goal we're chasing has momentum that's gonna have to be changed. So in the case of wanting to build a high rise, well, there's a lot of education you might have, there's a lot of connections you might need to be, there's a lot of momentum for the fact that you've never done that before. Trying to lose weight, there's a lot of momentum for the fact that you've tried to lose weight every year for the last 40 years. It's been your New Year's resolution every year for the last 40 years. And before January is over, so is your resolution. That's a lot of stored memories. That is a lot of stored memories. That is a lot of memory on the cellular level that says, we've been through this before. We're going to wait her out. We've been through this before. He's going to give up in a couple weeks, and we are not making any changes we don't have to make, because the goal of the body is to do what? Is to conserve energy. And it's not going to put out any energy if it can trick you into staying status quo, even though ultimately what's best for it is to expend the energy. The body says, we've been through this cycle before. We've been through this. Try hard, try hard, try. Ooh, this is too hard. Give up. Try hard, try hard, try hard. This is too hard. Give up. Try hard, try hard, try hard. This is too hard. Give up. We've been through this before, so we don't want to do all this effort. We're going to self-sabotage him or her, and we're going to make sure that he or she does not get where she or he wants to go. Because even though this would be nice, we ain't trying to do all this effort and have it be for nothing. Okay? So that's the way the body works. That's the way the body works. And we have to really realign our body and realign our thoughts so that the body knows it can trust us. That's where this class that's kicking off in February is so important. Because if you, like me, have broken a lot of promises to yourself before you learned these things, then it's time for you to take charge of your subconscious and start feeding it with what it needs to be able to release the weight, release the self-sabotaging behaviors, release the connective and the requirement to hold on to toxic and abusive relationships or jobs or any such thing. That's what this class will help you do. And it will help you grow your net worth as you grow your self-worth. All right. No matter what it is that we're doing, when we live emboldened in persistence, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm tongue-tied and dry tongued today. I guess I need to go get some more water. No matter where we are, when we are living a life of persistence, it allows us to shine brighter than any challenge that we have to overcome. We find a way to get it done. And when we truly embody the principle of persistence in its most essential and truest manifestation, we are now looking forward to and embracing the challenges. We seek them out. Now, I'm not saying I want to invite trouble to my life, but I want to find these challenges that are impeding me. I want to deal with them and I want to move forward. That fire within us burns so strong that we know we're going to be able to overcome the pebbles on our path. And no matter the size of the obstacle, it just adds fuel to the fire so that our resolution, our resolve to do this thing, and the intensity, the amount of energy that we put into this thing, grow to match it. So no, I don't want trouble in my life. I don't want any more challenges than I need, but I know that challenges are really opportunities in disguise. See, they're opportunities wrapped in a gift of challenge so that most people will give up before they ever unwrap the package. And I have made up in my mind that I am going to persist all the way till I do what I have been called to do. Have you seen the best athletes at the top of their game, like when the stakes are raised or their intensity increases, right? Okay, so maybe not in the playoff games last night, but how many of you have heard the saying, rise to the challenge, right? Through weeks and months and years of training, the athlete will develop this habit of persistence in which they now sharpen their resolve to face any obstacle. It inspires us as bystanders, or maybe you are one of those athletes today, but this certainly inspires me as a spectator, and it touches internally every one of us in a very fundamental way. Persistence isn't concerned with just the actions, and it's not about trying your best. I hear that a lot. Well, I did my best. I tried my best. But even when I hear people say, I did my best, I tried my best, it's almost like, oh, well, I'm only human. This isn't about being only human. This isn't about trying your best. And it isn't about just, well, if I could just do this one thing, if I could just talk to this one person, if I could just make this certain amount of money, if I could just do this, fill in the blank. That's not what persistence is about. It's about taking it all the way to accomplishment. Persistence says if you have ever tried your best and you haven't accomplished your goal, then you get better. Not give up, get better. And we have a lot of old sayings and linguistic metaphors like, well, it's better to have a bird in the hand than two in the bush. Well, why would you ever want to settle for a bird in the hand? Why not become a better shot and get both? That's what we're talking about. Persistence is continuously doing the things to not only get better, but to reach the goal. And what happens with everybody else is they allow themselves to be satisfied with less, because to go after more is going to require an increase in effort and an increase in time and an increase in energy expended. I want to challenge you today to take that step. You see, persistence is concerned about accomplishments and results, and it carries a time component. Your effort will have order, structure, and direction that's brought about through that vision and focus that we talked about before. So without vision and focus to structure our efforts, our actions most likely would mirror the lives of people who are filled with a lot of action but no real accomplishment. Okay? Let me see if I can fix my camera here, because I put this up and now it fuzzed me out here. Let's see. Maybe if I do it again, will we get there? Ah, there we go. All right. Think about the people that you know, and some of us know and love very dearly, people who are going nowhere. They wake up, they cook, they eat, they fill their day from errands from their to-do list. They say they want to do something with their lives, but they get absolutely nowhere. They're busy, exhausted, burnt out, worn out, no self-care, but they are not productive. This type of activity has nothing to do with persistence. It's only about keeping the mind and body occupied. And let me let you in on a secret about this, okay? There goes the camera again. Where's my sticky? Oops. I'm going to have to take a note to, oh, there it is. Oh, it stuck to me. Take a note to figure this one out. I'll just give me a second. You know, I'm writing down this so I can figure it out. Okay. Because otherwise I'll forget. That's part of my $1 million process, right? All right. We do all this busy work. We rearrange our desk 20 times. We make sure everything matches. We put the nice things on the wall. We put a nice plant in the corner. We do all of this busy work, but we are getting nothing done. We're not productive. And the reason we're not productive is because all of that activity is keeping our mind and body occupied. And it's like a self-sabotaging move to keep us from realizing we need to take the productive steps in a persistent manner and expend the energy. See, if we're just living in the scribble scrabble of life, then we just feel like, oh, well, we're doing something, but the results don't say we're doing something. And persistence is all about results. Persistence as a power principle is only concerned with accomplishment. So even if you feel that you have persisted, if you did not accomplish your goal, then it is time to be persistent about getting better so that you can accomplish your goal. After all, you're trying to achieve a much broader vision for your life. And persistence is a commitment to an end result. In the process of commitment to this end result, persistence will have you sharpen your skills. Persistence will have you advance your learning in every area of your life. Persistence will have you seek out those who have the skill sets, the resources, the energy, the time that you need, and maybe you don't have. Now, anybody who knows me knows that one of my favorite books to teach from is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Okay. And now look, when we go through this book, there's certainly some things we got to skip over because he did not write this book for women of color. All right. But if you get the principles down, they will be super, super powerful in your life. And in the chapter on persistence, he says that persistence is a state of mind. Therefore, it can be cultivated. So maybe you've had start and stop, start and stop, start and stop, like many of us did until we got to this revelation. Or maybe a lot of us did a lot of start and stop because we didn't know better. Maybe a lot of us did a lot of start and stop because our family situation or our life situation didn't lend itself to what we thought we needed, and we thought we needed all these other things, and we didn't realize we could start with where we are and start with what we have. Whatever, you can cultivate the power of persistence in your life. And he says, like all states, he says, like all states of mind, persistence is based on definite causes. And he lists what he calls his 8 factors of persistence. And the first one is definiteness of purpose. The second is desire. The third, self-reliance. The fourth, definiteness of plans. The fifth, accurate knowledge. The sixth, cooperation. The seventh is willpower, and the eighth is habit. And so if you haven't had a chance to read through this book, or if you haven't read it in the last 12 months, I encourage you to pick the book back up and dive in, especially this chapter on persistence. And you can actually go to jjclink.com/T for Think and Grow Rich and check out my class. The persistence chapter challenge is actually a free preview. So if you have trouble finishing what you start, you absolutely will find this exercise to be very powerful to break the bands of wickedness and tear down the bondage of procrastination in your life. In closing, let me just share this with you. Your habits are what define your hours, which is what defines your days, which is what defines your life. Your habits will define how you persist towards your final goals and your achievements. Remember that persistence is not a burden, it's a blessing. Hold on, keep going, stick to your vision, and soon it will be realized. I want to thank you for watching or listening, depending on how you are with me today. This has been JJ Conway on Power Principle number 4, persistence. As always, I want to encourage you to nurture your vision. Now, if anybody has a question, I'm going to invite you to ask a question in the comments. I think I caught the questions as we were going. There weren't many questions today. If you have a question, let's go ahead and drop it in the comments. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and close out. I realize if this was a school day, I'd be doing school run today. But I'm also going to do something else, and I'm not going to do this publicly. So if you know you want to roll in on it, you need to immediately send me a Facebook PM or boy, I don't know how else you're going to do it where I can get it real quick. You can shoot me an email to Minister Wiggins, but you need to act in the next 30 seconds. In Think and Grow Rich, we had a session on chapter 13. Nope. Chapter 11. The 10th step towards riches. I am going to record a private lesson on this chapter. It's going to be uncomfortable for a lot of people because he's talking about some topics that are very uncomfortable to a mixed crowd. And so we're going to tackle it, but we're going to tackle it in private. And those of you who have already bought Think and Grow Rich, that will be uploaded to your portal. I thought I had already done it. Couldn't find it. We're going to do it again. It's going to be a short lesson, but it's going to be a powerful one. All right. Well, with that, I don't see any questions in the chat. Y'all, thank you for being on with me today. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you learned something even from my announcements, right? And thanks again for being here. Y'all take care and be blessed.